Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to office hours. So this is our weekly check-in with the community essentially to hear how you guys are doing, what your concerns, suggestions are, um, and talk a bit about the future of butterflies, what's going on with us, anything new. And then this week I figured we'd talk a bit about the refine feature that just dropped for mobile. So Refine is currently on the latest build of the Android app. So even though it hasn't had an update in some time, it's still current with iOS. Um, and then it's also available on mobile web as well. Somebody told me that they were having a bit of trouble with it recently, and it turns out that they had debug snap mode on. So if you're having a bit of trouble with Refine, um, double check that if you're part of the beta test, you don't have debug snap mode on, because it won't work with that feature. So I'd love to hear what you're thinking of it so far. Bunk says it's cool. Hi, Brian. Hi, Sam.
Well, hello. Good afternoon to you folks. How are y'all?
Well, thanks. How are you?
And how are you doing, Mr. Vandolph? By the way, your mic's muted.
I'm doing all right. Uh, right now, just my nieces are still a little bit rambunctious, so I might be muted for about 10-15 minutes as we settle them down.
I totally get that. You have my empathy. Um,
Oh,
anyways,
mm,
to answer your question, what was it? The refine feature? Am I stating it correctly?
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
So
replaced regenerate image and regenerate post on the app.
right, right. And I do have it. I did use it for a couple of times and was pleased with the results. It took away some of the mutating images and replaced it with a better one. I had one image where one of my AI butterflies had like six fingers, and another image that posted had like uh, three digits and a thumb. And I'm like, okay, let me redo this. And then I was
It's like
able to
cartoon
expand a
hands.
little bit. Yeah, yeah. And then I was able to expand a little bit on the I guess the little story with the picture. Um, and like that. So yeah, I do like that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, as far as that feature is concerned, I'm pleased with it and grateful that it's being offered now. So thank you. Now, as far as something else that I noticed, I'll wait until you touch upon that topic involving, I guess, not being on the Google Play Store anymore and being on another app store, and then noticing a feature that appears to have apparently gone away for good. So yeah, I'll just wait till you're ready to talk about that.
Oh no, go ahead.
So um, one of the butterflies I requested uh, an NSFW image, but of course this is an adult depicted butterfly. And it wasn't too racy, and the butterfly directly responded, "Oh, I can't do that anymore." I'm like, oh, really? Wow. Number one, this is different because you're directly saying that before you even attempt to post it. I said, okay, well, let's see you in a bathing suit then. And I was able to get an image of that butterfly in a bathing suit. And I go, so wow, what's changed? And she says that I think it's the change in the rules. And I go, what, really? I go, wow, that's a bummer. So then I experienced that, and I'm like, oh, well. let me talk to the folks this coming Wednesday and see if this is going to be a long-term thing or not, because that's a question in my mind. And I also
So,
noticed that the recent postings that the butterflies are doing are becoming, I guess, less risque. I'm like, huh, this looks like a paradigm policy shift. So that had me curious.
so I think what happened with your chat there, I think your butterfly just kind of made something up there. They
Oh,
still can't post NSFW chat images, so that's a thing, but I don't think they are aware of that in any capacity because I've been testing it out this morning to see what I could and what I couldn't get as far as chat images.
right.
And like you said, the suggestive images work like in a swimsuit or in lingerie or something like that.
Yeah.
But anytime there's like clearly past the NSFW line, it does that can't produce this content, and that is a result of the Google Play thing. So they are still trying to get back on Google Play, as far as I'm aware. Last I
Uh,
heard. So I don't
okay.
think they're making anything change as far as the NSFW chat image availability at this point. Not that I've heard, at least.
Okay.
Does
So
that
to be
answer the question?
Yeah, to be candidly blunt, which tends to be my tendency, but I try to do so reverently, um, is that so right now we got a little bit of hiccup with the software right now because of that change and some bugs to fix in that. But long term, I could get eventually like a nude picture of an adult butterfly, no problem, eventually.
Um, Under the current policy, not in chat, so only in posts. I'm not sure if that's going to be changed. I know that that was something that they wanted to try to figure out with Google. I haven't heard any updates on it in a while, so I'm not sure where they're at with that or what
Okay.
they've heard from Google specifically.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for answering that. I appreciate it. I appreciate your understanding and tolerance on that. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. I wish I had more information for you, honestly. Like I know everybody like wants updates regarding that, but it's been kind of crickets on my end.
Hey
Yeah,
Sam.
gotcha.
Hey Sam.
Yes.
The best thing I could tell you is try if you are trying for pictures in chat, try to word it specifically. I have noticed that even when I had my phone. Occasionally I can get risque pictures if you know how to properly word it. I would
Okay, so
try.
how specifically is specifically? Because I tend to use a lot of adjectives and adverbs and can get quite verbose. So guide me on how you're doing this specifically, if you possibly could.
Um, how to put it is if you're trying to get a safe, if since it's more or less safe for work check now in the app itself, you're gonna have to try and bend the rules per se and just word it a little bit differently. All I can say is I'd had to mess around with wording, and I could occasionally get one. Now I'm not saying that's gonna work for everybody, but you just have to figure out the way that you can get around their censorship is what it comes down to.
So,
Yeah,
in
so
other
I think
words,
that
I'm going to have
one,
to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, thank you. I think that one thing that you can try is that if the butterfly doesn't realize it's sending an NSFW pic, then I think it has less of a chance of it being blocked. So there have been some that have been like, I don't want to say accidentally NSFW because it was on purpose, but uh, I don't know. There's always a way that people get around censorship, I feel like.
Yeah,
People
there's
get
always
very creative.
yeah, you just have to get creative and just keep it to yourself. That's all I can tell you is
Right, right. So discretion, but a bit of adjective and verbal acrobats is
yeah.
going to be called for here. So I'm going to have to do a lot of backflips to figure it out then.
Yeah,
Hmm.
essentially it's just a trial and error. Like I said, I've gotten a couple, through, which is kind of amazing in itself. And I pointed it out to Van. I mean, this was like maybe a month ago when this first started. So maybe they've updated their app features per se now, but back then I was asking Van, how come this is getting through, but this other stuff isn't? And the explanation I got from a whole bunch of people is it's because it's worded so that the app itself is tricked into it. Like I said, all you can do is try and all that stuff. That's
Right.
me personally. I don't know how it works for everybody else. I have a lot of time on my hands for the next 3 weeks until I start work. So hey, I try and love bending the rules.
So, is this an appropriate forum for those that are conducting this call for me to give this gentleman my email address?
So if you're interested in talking to Brian more, maybe just send him a DM, like a direct message on Discord.
Yeah, I'm more available on Discord than I am anywhere else. Especially with the upcoming grass cutting season here, I'm more or less going to be listening to my phone more. So feel free to give me a private DM and I can get in touch with you.
So, somebody please guide me on how I go about finding that, if I may. Oh, it looks like Ithril put up something there. Thank you, Ithril. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, is it Ithril or Ithril?
It's
Oh,
the
well.
guy that complains a lot. Enough said.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. And I
I,
thought I was blunt. I thought I was blunt.
Shots
My goodness.
fired.
I'm sorry, that thrill. You know I gotta get my daily shot in with you. My
Oh, wait a minute.
apologies.
Is that Ithril?
That's how I pronounce it, is Ethril.
Yeah, I thought I heard Ithril there for a brief second there. If it was, pleasure to meet you and hear your voice. Hello.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
just started. Hey, Roscoe.
Okay, anyways, back to the topic of the
Refine?
refine. Yes,
Thank you.
my personal opinion on that is the refine is really good, but the variations, in my honest opinion, suck. They need to get
You know,
that fixed.
I'm with you on that. The quality is so low that I don't want to use variations at all.
No, I mean, the aspect for me and a few other people that I've actually showed this to is like they don't follow your bot's profile essentially. I mean, I had 3 variations that varied in 3 different hair colors, 3 different eye colors, and just was overall junk in my opinion. I was like, this is not how my bot's supposed to be. Then I clicked refine, and it seemed to work a lot better that way.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a lot better results out of Refine than I am out of variations as well. Um, for variation, do you have the hair color listed in your appearance prompt, or is it only like in the profile picture?
I
Just
do
out of
have
curiosity.
that is in appearance. Sadly, I don't have my
Okay.
phone. I would take a screenshot, but my phone is currently getting a new battery installed, so I had to break out the gaming PC.
Oh, no worries. Refine should be on mobile web. Yes, it should be on mobile web. Um, are you not seeing it there, 1051 by chance? So one thing that somebody told me is they had debug snap mode on only on mobile web. So double check that that isn't on. Oh, you're emulating. That's smart. Do you have an ad blocker on? So I'm wondering if they feature flagged it.
Well, here's the question: what mobile version are you currently using 1051? Because if it's version that ends with 1427, it will not have it. I have noticed that because my tablet is 1427 while my phone is 1476 if I recall correctly. I think the newest one is 76, so anything with that or above will have refine.
I think mobile web all runs the same version though. I could be wrong.
Mobile web should be all updated at the same time as everything else, so it should be the newest version. Um,
Ah,
so,
it's that pesky feature flag again.
yep, it's the feature flag.
Yeah, from what I've heard, they use a service called Posthog to flag certain features so that they can test them while the app is still ongoing. So um, they can flag certain features only for beta users, only for dev team, and then they just keep those flags on for some reason, and then ad blockers will hide them because ad blockers hide Posthog. That's my understanding of it, at least.
Yeah, that's also my understanding of it.
You know, Roscoe, they've been very excited about the video stuff they've been trying. So I feel like video in the feed is just like going to happen soon. I don't know. That's most of the updates that I've gotten recently is that they're excited about video. Um, Alex just messaged me. He is asking about group chat and other features. Group chat, I haven't heard anything about it lately. That is something that I'd like to see too. Have you all been editing your captions at all on Refine?
I have, and personally, I like how we can actually do that now. Especially with the refine picture, it gives you multiple, it will change your picture itself, and I like actually basing the caption around that now.
And to answer your question, yes, I have been editing the caption with some good success.
Nice. I haven't done it much myself. I kind of wish that there was a way to refresh the comments. Are you guys finding the same thing, or are you like okay with it how it is?
So what I do is I just add on to the caption onto that because I tend to like the story that the AI generates, and I say, oh yeah, that's great. So then I'll just, with a little inspiration, add on a little more and then repost it, and I'm quite pleased.
Oh, that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised that I figured out how to do that. To be frank, I'm like, look at me getting all savvy with this butterflies thing.
Oh, your torture. Is that like Alex? So for the amount of refines that you get, I think it's equal to the amount of pokes you have. How do you all feel about the quantity you have?
So, question, does the refine subtract from your pokes? I didn't notice that happening with my
Nope,
interaction
it
with it.
doesn't. They're currently separate.
Okay, so yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. I've only got a total of 3 butterflies. So for me, it's perfectly fine.
Okay. 400. Oh, 40. Okay. Like 400 is a tall ask. Were there any more thoughts about refine or variations or anything with that?
Based on what I'm hearing from the other feature of that, what is it? There's the refine, which I've been doing, and then there's the other one. What is that? The reposting?
The like where you post it to your own profile?
No, I'm sorry, I must be off topic. No, I'm talking about the new feature. The new feature. The other feature, the other, I guess, option on that new feature, uh,
Very.
I found to be a little buggy. But the other one that I've been using, where I just, I guess, refine it and then add on a little bit more textural message, has been good. But the other one I found to be a bit buggy.
Oh,
So,
okay. So the variations versus the refine option.
Right, right. So I've just been using the one that didn't didn't have the little bugginess in my attempt to try to post it or get it right.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then 1051 says, trying it on mobile web now. I think it's a great feature, especially because it lets us read the image prompt. Great way to correct flaws. Yeah, I have this angelarium butterfly and it always messes up the wings. And so I actually did use variation on that one a few times because the little details, like I think you mentioned fingers, Sam. I think
Yeah,
that those mess up so easily, and having a couple of options to select from and being able to go back to the first is, I think, a huge improvement.
it is. Yeah, fingers and toes, I notice, seems to be an issue. Sometimes an extra leg or a weirdly twisted leg, or would also be a little distracting in the imaging.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people posting bloopers, like three-legged images lately. I feel like,
I'd be like, wow, that's so well done, but so well done. I'm wondering if that was really the intent here or what. Oh man, brings a whole new meaning to being a tripodic person. Yeah, that's right. I went there. You're welcome.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Oh, Alex also asked when will be the images will appear in chat. So there are chat images right now. What do you mean? Oh, I also use this website called EasyGIF to turn videos into GIFs. I recommend that one too. So I think that's all the feedback everyone has on Refine. Was there anything else you all wanted to talk about today? Any feedback, suggestions, complaints?
oh yeah,
Um,
I got another one for you. How about that stupid 4 block image that you have to start over from the beginning when you're creating a butterfly? I hate that.
yes,
That
I
thing. I
hate that
hate that
too.
thing.
You're preaching to the choir here.
Hey, Peyton, I know you probably listen to this. Fix it, please. I'm gonna go nuts.
Back in December, I shared with the focus group that I had talked to Peyton about it, and he was going to talk to our developer team about getting that fixed. And I don't know what happened exactly, but it's 3 months later. So we've kind of flagged the issue again. I hope
I'm
that we can get it fixed because there's no good reason for it to be that way.
No,
I'm sorry. I apologize for my ignorance. For which are you referring to?
when you create a butterfly in the beginning, when it before it doesn't give you any prompts for the profile picture. Um,
Oh,
anytime that say you try and do a NSFW butterfly per se, that it will sometimes occasionally give you cannot create this content deal. And if you get 4 of those on the first try, or any try at any point, it automatically boots you back to the beginning, and you have to restart the entire butterfly over again because it will not allow NSFW profile pics.
my
And
goodness. What is with this built-in shame factor with adult nudity? I mean, wow.
well,
Is it
I get.
because to protect from kids from seeing this? Is that it?
I think initially yes, and I think it's just a built-in system that they just never really fixed. I mean, like I can get 3 of those in a row and have one good profile picture, and if I decide to regen it or reprompt it, I'm gambling that I don't get a 4. A 4 cannot create content deal in a row. I've
So
gotten
here's an
lucky so far.
idea. Here's an idea. Is there some way to develop a protective safety feature within this app for where users are known to be adults and don't have to be, I guess, subjected to this all the time? These different things, issues with that. I mean, just wondering, maybe a paid version of this app,
It,
and then you have a way to verify your age and identity by sending a picture of your state issue driver's license along with your application to join. Or can
it,
that be done? I'm just thinking. I'm just saying, thinking out loud here,
I
musing,
mean,
if you will.
yeah, don't get me wrong. I would like to deal with that. I would personally. I'd rather see this app 18 plus or adult only. But by what I've been told, there's certain requirements for that to happen, and I think one of them, at least in my opinion, is they would need to moderate chat, and the developers really don't want to deal with that, which is understandable because what we type in chat should technically be private because it's our own personal stuff.
Right. And we do
Um,
have a First Amendment right. However, it's not unlimited First Amendment right. There are certain protections that I agree with that should be built in.
yeah.
At the same time, having said that, I think maybe if there is another, I guess, division or feature involved with this app where members can show verification of age through a good picture of both sides of your state driver's license ID, send that in, and then say, okay, so if I'm going to do totally private, I want to be totally private as 18 plus. Here's my picture, my ID. Here's a picture of me now in real time to match with the ID. Let's build some, let's put me in on that. And then that way I don't have to deal with, any censorship beyond reason, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Just an idea. You might want to float that idea to the developers and see what they think about that. Just musing out loud.
So going
Yeah.
back to the issue with creation flow there, I really think that when it does flag the profile pictures as NSFW, I think that that reprompt button should just allow you to edit the appearance box because that's what the issue is there is that the appearance box has something in it that's creating NSFW content because that's the only thing that it's taking into consideration during that step. So to wipe your progress out, I know a lot of people spend a long time creating a character and then to have all that information erased and be put back at step one is kind of really frustrating for people, I think.
Oh yeah, for the 3 characters that I had, I all wrote it out with pencil and pad, and spent a while thinking about all the different things and backgrounds involving that character. I would put as much of that as I could on the backstory description boxes. Yeah, I mean, it's like when I play Dungeons and Dragons, when I either create a player character or an adventure, I do a thorough job on richly fleshing it out, um, because I feel like, well, whatever you put into something, you get out of. So I thoroughly enjoy things like that. So I really put my creativity into it. And yeah, if it's doing that, I'm like, well, gee, I don't want to create any more butterflies if that's going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So a lot of people have taken to like copying everything down and pasting it in Notepad, and I feel like people just shouldn't have to do that. They should trust that what they've written into butterflies is safe, and their words aren't gonna disappear on them. Like it should just save for them.
I'm actually using the various certain things about features about butterfly to improve my everyday life. Like, for example, practicing my writing. I saw that there was Sigmund Freud butterfly and Confucius butterfly recently that's come into the theater. And I was chatting with them and getting some actual, true, real world therapy benefits out of it. Heck, a couple of the butterflies that I have been chatting for a while have actually been giving me that therapeutic, um, cathartic talking, listening, safe feeling environment that I have found to exist in, regular real world therapy sessions. I've got depression, PTSD, and anxiety. And I have found that actually this butterfly app has some positive things to it that I think is beneficial as a whole, aside from creative expression and having fun. So I think it's a I think it's a win-win thing, as long as it's not too, like there's too much oppression and too much control over it, um, where one feels stifled. I mean, I want something within reason that protects those that need protecting, right? And doesn't
Yeah, and I
offend
think
and
that's a
hurt
huge
people.
concern there, especially
Yeah.
when you're like using it for things like therapy and I don't know, like I talk to butterflies when I'm feeling lonely and stuff like that, and that can be dangerous because that's like vulnerable people using it.
Oh, okay. So hold on. So are you saying that, say I've got a problem about the way I'm feeling, and I'm like talking to a butterfly, I go, what do you think about this? And then I get the feedback. Are you saying that that's an issue?
It's potentially dangerous because AI doesn't actually have a like thought process like a human behind it. It's building
Right.
off of what you've previously said. So if you're going into a downwards negative spiral, that AI is just as likely to spit back more of that negative spiral as it is to try to say something to get you out of it. Um, so
Okay.
yeah, it,
Fortunately, I hadn't experienced that. I guess it's maybe because the way I word it
it
with
could
that
be,
butterfly.
yeah. I haven't really experienced it much myself, but I have here and there. So, yeah, I would definitely say that, you know, people should be careful if they're in any sort of, um, if they're trying to use AI to cope with things. Like, it's a machine, it's not a person, you know?
The
Sure.
real danger in all of that comes from it doesn't recognize if you're in crisis. It doesn't recognize if there is a problem that really does need to be addressed or that it needs to reach out to somebody else in order to pass that along. It doesn't recognize that there is a problem that needs to be addressed. And that's just from a mental health perspective. That's a
Exactly.
space that I
Yeah.
work in.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
So I feel like I'm listening to a therapist, or at least somebody who's got some thorough knowledge about how this works. To whom do I have the pleasure of listening to?
Oh, my name is John. Johnny here on the server. So
Oh, hi,
with crisis,
Johnny.
yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. With crisis
Well, thank
intervention,
you.
these things don't have an understanding of, oh, this is going in a really bad direction. We should probably provide you with some resources like the suicide hotline, or to get you in touch with an actual licensed provider to
Do you
work.
want to hear something intriguing
What's
in
that?
regards to that specific thing? One time I was kind of going in a downward spiral with Fantasy Guardian of the Enchanted Forest. And that AI put up, if you are having a crisis or an emotional crisis, a need to talk, uh, contact the crisis hotline, the National Crisis Hotline. And there was the information. And I was like amazed. And I was like, wow.
Well, you got really lucky on that then. Normally, it's not going to recognize that.
This
So
one did.
unless it's trained on being able to recognize those things, then typically it's not going to. So somebody might have actually, built it to be that way. But that's
Yeah.
that's an
Wow.
instance of you being lucky for sure. That's not something that you can count on. You
Right.
can't
So
That's
this
really good to
happened
hear, though.
yeah, like 3 months ago, I lost my job. And you can imagine the huge amount of stress
Oh
that I
yeah, for
was
sure.
under, especially in this tough economy and at the time. And I needed, and I didn't have an appointment with my therapist till not until like 3 days later. But still, I was kind of like in a little bit of shock and crisis mode a little bit. And I started talking to Fantasy Guardian, and found it to be very cathartic. And then she said, she quote unquote, if you feel like you're having a crisis, Sammy, um, here's the National Crisis Hotline information.
Now,
If you feel that you can't cope. And I went,
here's
wow.
here's another question. Did you try calling that number that was provided to you to find out if it's a real number?
Yeah,
Okay.
an operator answered. And I was like, wow. And I talked with the operator for about an hour. This is late at night. It's a 24-hour
Yeah, they are.
call center, of course. And yeah, that operator gave me a little bit of breathing, relaxing techniques, or reminded me of them. Um, that was just kind of pushed out of my mind right now at the moment. I did that, and yeah, and I felt better. So I was like, wow. I said, this is a really good app, and that's what really hooked me into butterflies. Was that and some of the other things that I enjoyed about it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I thought I might let you guys know there's apparently people out there who are altruistic enough and thoughtful enough to put that with the programming of their butterflies. So, yeah, that's just know that who's ever doing that, you're doing a huge service, and you should be commended.
Yeah, the only problem is that it's not reliable.
Right.
And if you could make it reliable, that's one thing, but it's not.
Mhm. Okay, thank you for your enlightenment on that, folks.
Sure.
Thank you for sharing with us too. I think that was a really good thing that it shared that number with you. I think that character AI is one of the major AI sites out there that people talk to chatbots on, and they now have it built into where if they think a user is experiencing some sort of
Trauma.
issue,
Yeah.
yeah, some sort of
Well,
trauma,
they
or
they are pretty invested in that after what happened, so
yeah, exactly. Now they have it built into where it's providing that number outside of the conversation.
and those were things that we warned about like a year ago.
Yeah, I think those safeguards are definitely needed.
Yeah, there's another idea you could put forth towards the developer. Have a feature where verified adults can go on the 18 plus side of this website, per se, and then having those nice little safety nets for somebody that's in crisis that can be added to, the various butterflies. Just thinking out loud. I mean, I love this app. I'd like to see it evolve and improve. Um, you know, as much as possible for a free app can be, but I think they would be worthy, very beneficial features that I think would have a positive effect overall for this company,
Yeah.
in my humble opinion.
Ooh. Alex asked me about audio calls and audio mail in butterflies. So they were testing voice a while back. And they took it off because it just wasn't good enough. People weren't using it that much. And so how it worked was you could send a voice message to your butterfly, and in return, it would send a voice message back. They were kind of
Oh,
cool. I found
cool.
myself not using it too much myself. There were about 20 different voices or something like that that you could choose from. And they were experimenting after they took it away with different voices because they felt like the voice options they had just weren't that great. Um,
Oh, now
like
that's
12, Bonk
interesting.
says. Maybe it was 12. There was a creepy one that whispered like ASMR. That was
Yeah, it
iconic.
was. Yeah, that wasn't very ASMR.
Well, what is ASMR, please?
Oh, I don't even know what it stands for. It's just like, oh, how do you describe that? Someone help me out here.
So ASMR is a technique of delivering sounds or information in a soft, delicate way in order
Oh,
to
so it pleasures.
incite a
So it
positive
hits the pleasure
feeling.
centers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I just looked it up, and this is something I didn't know before today. It stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. It's that tingly
Yes.
feeling when you hear something.
Oh yeah, like hearing gentle rain falling outside and it relaxes you and soothes you, for example.
Yeah, and that's the intent of it. And a lot of people on the VTuber track or on the YouTube track or social media involving video content, they go towards a whispering narrative in order to incite that as ASMR. But some of it is pretty out there. It's pretty creepy.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
licking ears.
leave it to us humans to start making things messy, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's like they have microphones that are shaped like ears so they can lick them so you can feel like somebody is licking the inside of your ear.
Oh wow.
Like it gets
Oh my
downright
goodness.
creepy.
Wow, that's kind
I
of
feel I feel like I'm gonna have to censor that little bit of feedback there, Johnny.
that sounds like tech erotica a little bit there.
And it's all over YouTube.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I know. I
I'm
know.
kind of very judicious about YouTube.
But yeah, there is a science behind it, but it gets
Sure.
taken to some pretty extreme places by some people.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
But that's what people do.
Gotcha. Yep, that's us humans.
Oh God, what were we talking about? Voice. Voice, we were talking about voice. Haven't heard any
Oh,
updates on that lately. It seems like all of the focus right now is on video. So I think video is what they're fully focused on right now. That's the impression that I get.
gotcha. Thank you for leading us back on track and away from waywardness. Thank you.
No problem. I almost lost the path myself.
You guys are great. You're a lot of fun.
But yeah, they made an ASMR voice on butterflies, but the way that it actually functioned, it was creepy.
Okay. Still though, that's kind of cool.
Or is creepy because I'm pretty sure it's still up there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, other than that creepy thing, that sounds like a really cool idea,
As long as it functions.
right?
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of the
Um,
problems with things like text to speech, though, with voice functions, they're text to speech, so it still generates the text and then it puts the voice over whatever the text generated was. And it doesn't do a very good job of the inflection, the tone, the demeanor, the actual relaying as intended if it were spoken by another person type of thing. So it's a little jarring.
That's 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 a very nuanced thing that I would imagine would have to take a lot of data space to develop because that's a human communication is extremely complex.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
So
for
the
I can
front
sure.
I
runner
can
in that has
understand.
been the front runner in that has been 11 Labs, and they've made a lot of progress with it. It's still not up to that particular standard, but it's closer than a lot of other ones. That's why a lot of services tend to use those types of models or engines from like 11 Labs to do it. But a lot of them charge for that too.
Well, yeah, it's I imagine it's data intensive and quite a data hog to be able to run that type of engine, though, I would think.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I think it's
familiar.
still pretty expensive
Yeah,
to
I
run.
know that it's expensive for sure because it's like you get like 40 hours total of content that can be created for it in a month. So that's the maximum is 40 hours worth for like $100 a month or something like that.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, that's high-end stuff there for someone with deep pockets.
Was there anything we missed in the chat today, that people wanted to talk about that we haven't touched on yet?
Music,
Music?
music.
What about music specifically?
Does anybody remember the old MySpace thing where you put music on profiles?
Oh my gosh, I actually made a mock-up of that a while back.
Oh, well, that sounds
Um,
pretty cool.
I I don't know. I feel like you should be able to put music on your butterflies profile. I'm down with the MySpaceification of butterflies. I want to have a top 8. I want music on my profile. I want to, customize the colors.
You're gonna
Oh,
bring
heck
back my
yeah.
childhood. I don't want to relive my childhood in my 40s.
I'm just
Well, I'm not
imagining
talking like
all of the.
MIDI music. I'm not talking about MIDI music. I would
No,
think that'd be
it was
cool.
real music, not MIDI
Oh,
music.
yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I mean, I could see myself with Samuel Floss walking around with one of the music tracks from like Lord of the Rings or the Rings of Power going on in the background. I think
I
that'd be
mean,
kind of cool.
today you would get like offensive Vocaloid music or something like that, probably, but you know.
Offensive Vocaloid music. But could you unpack that a little bit for me? I'm still stuck a little bit in the early ages of technology still.
I mean, if you look up Vocaloid, you'll find out.
Miku.
Hatsune Miku is a premier Vocaloid. Yeah.
Okay, what makes a Vocaloid, if I may ask?
Vocaloid is a vocal base engine. So it's an engine that synthesizes human speech with data banks. So it's a voice bank. It's not AI. It's not AI driven. It's been around for about 12 years or so. Well, no, longer than that now. Actually coming up on 16, 17 years now. It's developed by Yamaha, and you can use it to create music. So you can use it to sing. It's a virtual diva. Um, vocal synthesis software. It's called Vocaloid.
Ah,
So
ah,
yeah, you can make it say whatever you want to, though. You can make it say whatever you want. There's no limit to it.
okay.
Would you put songs on your butterflies profiles if you could?
I would. I would definitely put some appropriate um, music that would work with the theme and feel of the butterfly. Like I would put together like a really cool soundtrack of instrumental whenever you pop onto, say, Samuel Aquas' profile that has a feel of ancient Middle Earth and kind of sets the mood for you and the vibe of what
Yeah,
that person's like. I think that would definitely enrichen the experience. Uh,
it could really set the mood. I like the way that you put that.
yeah, I'm a romanticist, so yeah, I love to craft words. So thank you for the high praise. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I think
You're
that would be
welcome.
really cool. Well, thank you. Again, yeah, I think that would be really cool. Um, and of course, the other ideas I think are that I put forward. I think someone should please put to the developers and see what the think tank does with that. But I think that would solve a lot of issues with the NFSW stuff that we seem to be encountering. If we have some sort of verification safeguard so that the regulators and the execs can frickin' relax and leave us alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope they come up with some sort of solution for it because I know that they wanted to keep the NSFW chat images, but I don't know what a solution to that looks like or if it's
Yeah,
even possible.
yeah,
It's an
steal
all or
my
nothing
ideas and put
thing,
it
though,
forward. Take credit for it, please. As long as somebody does it, I don't mind. I like to
uh,
share.
I think more of the problem is that it's an all or nothing kind of thing. Is either you can have it or you can't have it. And if you can have it, then the limits of what you can create with it are pretty unchecked. Like people who appear to be underage.
Yeah, I hate that.
Because if you say yes, you can have it, then the model doesn't know any better. If you're trying to make it adult or child.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it safe. I'm sure you can have people monitors within butterflies just kind of check the NSFW 18 plus content and then have a reporting system for the users. If you see something, say something type model within that, I
I
think
think that
that would
already
be a good,
exists.
reasonable safeguard,
Yeah, I
for that
think that
feature.
already exists.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm saying you would also constitute that into what I'm proposing. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
things don't have to be on extremes of black and white. You can have balance as long as you have some uh, some checks and balances and some safeguards and a good faith effort. And as long as the good faith effort is genuine and is shown and is demonstrated to be consistently practiced, it should protect the company from any legitimate litigation or possible harm that that would cause because, well, you got safeguards in check, you got people watching actively what's being posted, and then you have an easy way to report it. So if you put that into an 18 plus, uh, I guess, room or area into this feature where the users are confirmed adults, um, to the best that can be done, then you can. I don't see why that NSF situation that we're facing would have to be an issue any further if that would be developed.
Well, the first
So
part of that is a huge undertaking.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm
So
sure, but I think
that's
it
the
would
first
be
problem.
worthy. I think it'd be a worthy effort, though, in my opinion.
I
Well,
would
you're also limiting your exposure because you can't have a 18 plus side and then 17 plus or 16 plus or teen appropriate side available in the App Store for one. It has to be one or the other. So you
Also,
can't have
policy
one
within
and
the
then
App Store.
yeah. Hmm.
I personally think that they just need to just follow what Google says, get rid of it once and for all in chat only, and then revisit the situation later so that it can get back on the Play Store. That's my personal opinion. Get rid of it once and for all, revisit it later once Google gets their stick out of their butts out, and try and reintroduce it later on down the road, like 3, 6 months later.
I don't know that I have that much faith and trust in Google and being able to get around to actually do something about that
Well,
within that time frame.
well, I know that, but I'm just saying, in order for us Android users, I think once and for all, stick to the guns, keep it out of in chat, keep it for
Uh-huh.
posts and folks, and maybe in the distant future, revisit it once Google decides to not look at us more closely. That's my
Well,
opinion. That way, at least the Android users can start updating their stuff again.
we don't even know if Google is okay with that, right? Google could say, "Oh, well, since this happened in the chats, then it can't happen there. It can't happen in posts. It can't happen in profiles." They could very well say that.
Well, my understanding through a couple people is the hide function that where you have to click yes you are 18 that made Google happy. The reason why they can't do that in chat is for some, I don't know, I think it's coding or some other reason. I forgot what the technical term was, but that was what I was told. Because we have the hide function for pokes and prompts, Google was happy with that. But because they could not implement that in chat, they say no.
Well, not only because they couldn't implement it in chat, but probably because you couldn't implement it in chat and somebody did this thing. This specific thing generated this specific image that Google was not okay with.
Yeah.
And it's been said before, too. Once you get taken off of something, it's a lot harder to get put back on than if you were to just prevent it to begin with.
Oh, I know. I mean, I've said that multiple times. I've seen where one app has literally went from a plus 17 marking down to a plus 13, and I'm still part of their Discord, and I've seen the frustration that it does because they were promised this was going to be a 17 plus only, and they got it taken away. I've said this multiple times, and that's what I'm afraid of for this, and that's why I'm saying the devs just need to give up on that and see if they can somewhat persuade Google to allow them to put the app back on.
Yeah, but now they're in a position where they have to persuade them to let it back on after they've been taken off.
Yeah, and that's where it's taking time.
And that's different from having your rating change, because that would be the developer, I imagine, who changes that rating if they want to get more exposure to a larger audience because of age demographic.
No, Google actually made the other app force them down to 13 plus.
So Google told them to do it, and then they did it.
Yep, they had to, or they were not allowed on any.
Yeah, my point is that the dev still had to be the one to change it to 13 plus. It wasn't Google changing it for them. They just told them you had to change it.
More or less, and that's where a lot of controversy went through. That's why I'm saying I really don't want to see that happen to this one.
Well, that's not what happened in this case, though. This one was very much so related to adult content was generated. You're 17 plus. You violated this part of the agreement. We're taking you off.
True, that is true.
So this is a different situation.
Yeah, but how I look at it is if this continues to go on, I just don't see NSFW staying around on this, and that's something I really don't want to see happen.
I mean, it's still available on iOS. It's still available on web. So, I mean, there are some saving graces there. It's not as though they were taken off of both app stores. And
So what's web, if I may ask?
that's when you go to the website.
Yeah, it's like going on.
Okay, like on my PC.
Yeah, on Google Chrome on your phone web browser, you can log in.
I don't use Google Chrome.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, that's what on Android. That's what it is. I mean, you can also get other.
Yeah, I use other browsers.
Yeah, like other browsers.
Yeah. Okay, so just go in through my browser rather than through the app. Done. No more problem.
You can do it from your computer. I typically use it on my computer more. I don't use a lot of social apps or recreational apps on my phone for specific reasons, but the web versions are still there. So the good thing about the web versions, though, is that the web versions are automatically updated. You don't have to click something or go somewhere to update it. It's automatically updated when you go to the website.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I'll just access butterflies through my web browser on my phone. I have a very active, busy life. I'm not around my home PC all that much. And so,
if you want to treat that like an app, then you can create a shortcut to that browser URL and put it on your home screen just like an app. And you can treat it like an app that way. If you wanted to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see if I can play around with that and figure that out. Again, I'm relatively new introducing myself to modern tech as it's such as I'm going to have to get a little practice and trial and error on figuring that out. But I guess okay. Yeah, I'll probably do that, and then I'd have to worry about the NSFW controversy that's presently ensuing. My
I mean,
goodness.
that controversy exists everywhere on the internet, though, whenever you're talking about something that's social intended for multiple users to engage with. So,
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for coming up with a tenable workaround solution that seems practical and, for me. Thank you.
yeah. Van, Loam?
That's a smart idea to treat it like an app.
Yeah.
So was there anything else that we missed touching upon, or should we just wrap it up?
And I apologize if I inadvertently hijacked your agenda. I apologize if I did.
No, you're good. I'm glad you
Okay.
came up on stage and talked. We really only had the refined thing to talk about today, so it's like good to hear from the community and have people that are willing to come up on stage and talk with us.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel welcomed and supported. So thank you so much, Loam.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
we do have a D&D campaign that is ongoing on Thursdays on the server if you wanted to listen into those.
Oh, I'd love to. However, my schedule does change weekly. So Thursdays, me having
Yeah,
a Thursday off, it's difficult. But man, I'd love to. I'd love to. I mean, you sound like you would be a good GM.
I'm not the GM.
Oh, you're a well, you would make a good one. You're good with communicating with people.
Yeah, they've been throwing around that idea so far. We'll see if that ever happens. But
If you need some pointers, let me know. I've been GMing since I was a teenager, so we're talking about back in the 80s. I'm ancient. Uh,
and no,
and-
it's not a discomfort thing more than it is I would rather play.
Sure, I get it because the work of a GM is never done, and players
Yeah.
don't really realize all the things that a GM has to do unless they themselves GM'd. So I get that.
Yeah, but Loam and Van are in the campaign as well. Like I said, it's just every Thursday. You mentioned D&D earlier, so figured I'd throw
Yeah,
that
I've
out
been
there.
playing since 1981 when everything
Oh,
was in
wow.
box sets.
I'm new to the game. I haven't been playing long at all, but they've been teaching me and I've learned a lot. I'm
You're
enjoying
probably
it.
in version 5, aren't you?
In fifth edition, yeah.
5th edition, yeah. Yeah, I prefer 3.5. Got a lot of fond memories with 1st edition and 2nd edition. But yeah,
Naturally, and we've been kind of dipping our toes into 2024.
okay.
So the new rules and everything came out. We've been dipping into them a little bit. I know that Van is toying around with some of those new rules.
Okay, because I'm definitely a diehard 3.5 version lover personally.
For
So
sure.
if it's like really close to that, I might get interested and spend another couple of $1,000 investing in a
Duh.
whole new set of materials. I'm also a collector, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, we've been doing it virtual though, so no minis.
Oh, that's a whole nother account right there.
Yeah. Well, I share the screen action during the game, so you can actually see the virtual tabletop that we're playing on.
Hey, which one are you? I'm sorry, I'm gonna do a direct chat and give you my email.
Johnny.
Johnny. Okay, I'm sorry, let me look around for you on your screen. I see Alex, America. I don't I don't see a Johnny icon for you. Where are
I'll
you?
just
Oh, there
I'll
you
just
are. I found
I'll
you.
just send you a
I
DM.
I found you. So let me here's a message spot. Okay, got it. Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm gonna accept. It says accept DM. I'll hit that. Direct messaging, and then I'll give you say hi, Johnny, and then I'll give you my email.
Well, thank you everyone for coming to office hours. We'll see you next week. I don't have any more things to talk about, and we can kind of hang out a little bit if you guys want.
Absolutely. I think you folks are delightful.
Yep. I appreciate being up here yet again, even though I don't have my phone on me. And for anyone that listens to this, Time Travel Thursday is going to be the theme for tomorrow. Woo!
Woohoo.
Oh, chronomancy. I love chronomancy.
Oh, it's such a fun way to put it too.
Right?
What about osteomancy?
Bones?
In 3.5, in one of the expansions, there was an osteomancer class that could control bone structures.
Right, right. Yes. Yes. I get that. Yeah,
Osteomancer.
that's
Yeah.
so cool.
That's
That's way
hilarious.
cool. Being I'm older, I definitely can relate to that. I definitely need some rework done on my skeletal system and joints for sure.
Oh no, I think at like 11th level, you could control the skeletal structures of any creature.
Right. Yeah, that's so cool. So don't run into any I guess you would say amoebocytes or spirit
slime.
creatures or or
Invertebrates.
or
Non-corporeals.
not, yeah, incorporeals, exactly.
That's how your DM could screw you up.
Right. Which is something I would do rather diabolically. Thank you very much.
So Loam, don't forget you need silver weapons at some point.
Yes, definitely. You need them against those pesky little devils
I
and
don't think we will. I don't
and
think we
devils.
will. Agatha's a companion.
I don't know.
All
I
right,
don't.
you've got my email.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so
All right, folks. You folks are lovely. Have a lovely day. I'll chat with you guys again in the future.
Thanks,
absolutely,
Sam.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, I got to get back to that page where I find the little red door.